Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So it's finally time, okay, for me to upgrade and install a radio communication system in Warpaint. Now, all the years that I've been off-roading, I've always relied on the simple walkie-talkie handheld two-way radio in order to communicate with the people I'm out on the trail with, or maybe even some other groups that are close by. Now, those are still a benefit, and you definitely still need those with you when you are out on the trail, but there is a big benefit into upgrading to something that is installed in your vehicle, and Midland makes that super easy. They have a bunch of different radio systems to install and a bunch of different power ratings. We're going to talk about those real briefly, and then we're going to dive in, and I'm going to show you guys just how simple it is to install this in your vehicle yourself. You can definitely tackle this. It's very simple. So stick around, check it out. The first step whenever you're doing anything with your vehicle, especially with anything that has to do with the electronics, is to pop your hood and disconnect your battery. Now, I'm not today going to show you guys how to hook it up to your battery. I will show you where I'm going to run the wires, but I'm waiting on new battery terminals, so I don't want to hook it up just to have to disconnect it in the future. So the radio system we're going to be installing in Warpaint today is the MXT575, as you can see here in this box. Basically comes with everything you need. It comes with an antenna that has a magnetic base. It comes with the radio system itself and a mounting bracket to install in various places in your vehicle. It's just kind of universal. It also comes with a mic head that allows you to program it, switch the channels, things like that, and use it in your vehicle. Now, the thing that jumps out about this radio system to me isn't the amount of channels, because they all have that. It's not, you know, the amount of privacy channels. They all offer that stuff. It's the power, okay? This unit is compact, very well made, and produces 50 watts. Now guys, a 50-watt radio system may not sound like a lot to you, depending upon your knowledge of watts and things like that. You can't compare it to like your good time radio that you're using to, you know, blast tunes down the trail. It's very different. This wattage isn't what comes out of the speaker inside of your Jeep. It's the power, okay, that radio uses to communicate with other radios in the area. And the more powerful it is, the better it can communicate around rocks, turns in the trail, hills, mountains. So this radio system being a 50 watt, we're going to compare it to like those handheld radios we usually use. And a decent quality, affordable handheld radio is only going to be 3 watts. Okay, so what that's going to do for you out on the trail is allow other people to hear you very, very, very well. But we're going to install something on this rig. We're going to upgrade the antenna for this radio to where we can actually pick up those 3-watt radios a little bit better as well. So stick around, check it out, because this install is very, very simple. The first thing that you need to determine when you're going to be mounting a radio system inside of your rig is where you're gonna put it, okay? Now you gotta keep in mind that right here in this radio, we're gonna have that mic head, the piece that you're gonna use to push to talk and speak into. It's gonna have a cord hanging from it. A lot of people tend to mount them up here, and they use the Torx bits that actually hold this little bracket in, and they use the bracket up there and they kind of mount it. But then you have your cord hanging down in front of you, in front of your rear view mirror, swinging around in your windshield. That's not what I'm gonna do. And this is exactly where I'm gonna mount it. So this system, once it's in there, should look something like this, okay? That'll keep it tucked in out of the way of the shifter, all my other switches out of the way of the passenger over here, and it should work pretty nicely. I just simply use the included hardware and my screw gun to install the mounting bracket. Of course, I made sure behind the center console there was nothing there that would cause a problem. Slid the radio into the bracket, and it's nice and tucked in out of the way. Guys, something I definitely recommend picking up after you have your radio installed is a different mic head. Now, the mic head that comes with the Midland MXT575 is perfectly fine. It'll work. But when you're in something like a Jeep and you have a soft top or doors that you like to remove and there's a lot of background noise, this mic head here, which is going to be the MXM-CO1, this mic head is the one you want. It's got noise canceling technology in it, as well as some other things that are going to allow people out on the trails to hear you a little bit better. But let's get this installed. Let me show you how easy it is. With this out of the box, obviously you can peel that screen protector. I'll do that later. But most radios have this little knob on the back. Now they come with something with double-sided tape, but that's why I bought this bracket, and it's just gonna sit in there. You come down here, you plug in your radio, kind of like the old telephones that no one probably remembers, and this part of the job is done. All right, guys, time to wire. We're gonna use this end, okay? The end that plugs into the back of the radio. We're gonna push that through the firewall to the inside of the Jeep on the driver's side. Now, the place you're gonna wanna do that is right down in here, about an inch or two below this stud that holds on your brake booster bracket. There's a rubber grommet down there that allows you to pass wires through. Now, I've already sent a bunch of them through there, but we're gonna do that. It pokes it right through, basically behind your OBD2 port on the dash, but obviously on the firewall, and allows you to grab it and pull it onto the inside. Now, the reason we're gonna put that plug through, which again, admittedly, it's not the easiest way to do it because it's a pretty big plug through a pretty small hole, but we're gonna do that because if we did it the other way, where we plug that into the radio and feed the wires through first, you then have to try to get the fuses and all that kind of stuff through that hole as well, and that would be harder, or if not impossible. So we're gonna start with the plug, we're gonna push it through. Now, what I might do is actually like put a long zip tie on the end of that plug, tape it on, feed the zip tie through. That way I have something to grab, and then I can pull the plug through the hole. That usually works pretty good. You can also use a coat hanger. There's a bunch of different ways to do it, but let's get to it. So I'm gonna use a really long zip tie. We're gonna put it on the plug. We're just gonna kind of wrap it around it. And pull it tight. Now, I'm also gonna wrap some tape around that to hold it on and make sure that we don't break this little tab here off as we're pulling it through the hole. All right, so just put the end of that zip tie all the way through. A lot of the time you can even link a number of zip ties together to make it longer if you need it to be. But in this case, it was fine. We grabbed it, pulled it right through. Obviously, we got that wire to come through the other side of the dash. I'll tuck it in behind the carpet under the plastic, maybe put some wire loom on it, you know, to protect it and that kind of thing. Get it all kind of tucked up and out of the way. But at this point, all we have left to do is to take these two plugs, push them together like so. They lock together with that clip that you saw us tape so we didn't break it off earlier. And that's basically it. Now at this point, we're back under the hood, and there are those fuses in a very easy to take care of place to access. I'm gonna put a loop of electrical tape kind of holding them up and out of the way, maybe loop another piece onto the other side, cover all this stuff in loom, and I have plenty of wire to basically run all that all the way across, all the way over there to the battery. And then I gave myself plenty of extra. Now I can always cut that off, put my terminals back on where I need them at the right length, and then wire it nicely to the battery. The only thing we have left is the antenna mount. Now this is the Ghost antenna mount, which you can purchase separately through Midland, but I'm gonna show you guys how to install that and where I'm gonna put it on my Jeep. I'm not gonna show you how to run the cable because you're gonna do it the same way that you ran the electric, and I'm gonna run it under the dash, and then this end just basically plugs into the only place where it can go and screws on the back of the radio unit that you saw us mount to the center console. So you don't need to see me do that again, but this piece is actually kind of cool. So we're gonna go mount it. I'll show you how. Now this end is curved like this here because it's basically meant to go onto a body panel. This curves around the back side of that body panel, and then you tighten these with a 3/32 Allen key or T-handle into the body panel. So what we're gonna do is actually put a piece of tape across the bottom edge of the body panel, stop it from scratching it, basically slide that over the back side of our hood here on Warpaint, tighten those in, and the antenna just screws onto the top. After putting some tape underneath the hood to protect the finish and prevent further rust, position the antenna over just enough to clear the high lift. I'm going to tighten up those two little studs you saw earlier with that Allen key and screw the antenna on. Once that wire's ran, it's pretty much done. Whether you are interested in getting a installed radio system or something that is like a handheld walkie-talkie, Midland has you covered. They also have different wattage systems, of course, at different price points. This one is a little bit more expensive, but you get a lot of bang for your buck. It's super easy to install and it's gonna be reliable. So I would definitely get out there and check it out. You can go to my website, warpaintjku.com. I will give you guys a link to that in the description, and that will also take you over to their website on my page. There's also some other discounts and other things on there. So go down over, go check it out, get your radio installed, and get a license for that radio. The FCC in the United States requires that you have a license to operate a GMRS radio. There's no test or anything. It's $35 for 10 years. But it does register you as being a GMRS user, which is a good thing. But anyway, guys, get out there, install one of these radios in less than an hour in your own rig and improve your communication skills and keep building stuff.